Hey, Ty Cohen here, and I'm with Courtney Runyon.
You said it right.
Right?
Yeah.
I got it right?
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome. Okay. So I just met Courtney actually through a mutual friend, and she said, Ty, you've got to meet Courtney. And I think she said, Courtney, you've got to meet Ty, right?
Yeah, she did.
So as you guys know, I'm always sharing my story about the trials and tribulations that I've grown up with, and part of that includes having sickle cell anemia, right? So sickle cell anemia, I was born with it as a kid and hospitalized maybe hundreds of times. And if you don't know what sickle cell anemia is, it's a blood disorder that primarily affects African Americans to the point where, you know, your blood cells are normally round, soft, pliable as they're going through your veins and capillaries, and they flow really freely. But when you go through a sickle cell anemia crisis, what happens is they get hard, right? They don't flow as easily. They're more sickled, hence the name sickle cell anemia, and it causes like a ton of pain. So what I've done is I've learned to turn my disadvantage of having sickle cell anemia into an advantage, one that helps me to not only grow multiple businesses, but also to have an amazing family. There's my wife, Melody, over here. I'm going to pan to her real quick. So there you go. She's always ready for the shot, if you guys notice that, right? And then also just to, like I said, build businesses, right? Have an amazing family, travel the planet, and help to inspire people by the millions, right? And educate people on the sickle cell anemia as well. So I just bumped into Courtney, and Courtney's sharing a little bit about her story with me. And Courtney actually got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, right? Not too long ago. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can.
Yep.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, my name's Courtney Runyon. I was a total free spirit. I was a backpacker traveling around the world. I'd gotten back, I moved to Vegas, then did the whole Vegas thing, and but I was healthy. I was always meditating and drinking green smoothies every morning, and I thought, like, I've got
like the ultimate picture of health, right?
Yeah, I really was. I really was trying to live my healthiest life, and I never thought I would get sick, and I ended up getting an autoimmune that paralyzed me from the neck down. So
you get this autoimmune disease, right? Prior to this, you're super healthy. You're meditating. You're practicing yoga, right? You're just enjoying life. Very free-spirited person, I can tell, right? And you just get hit with this. And does it come on all at once, or is it slowly but surely?
It's like I almost think if it would have come on all at once, that would have been easier.
Right.
But it came on really slow. It took about 6 months before I started to be disabled.
Wow.
It's very rare. It's called CIDP.
CIDP?
Chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy is what it stands for.
Okay.
But I slowly was losing abilities, and it took about 9 months before I was paralyzed from the neck down.
Oh, wow.
They couldn't figure out what was wrong, and when they finally did, I got diagnosed at the Mayo, but then treatment did not work for another 3 months.
So did it take them that long, 3 months, for them to figure out like what was the best combination of treatment for you, or what was it?
It was kind of an insurance thing. You have to do the first medication and show insurance that it doesn't work before they let you try a different one.
So you were going through the whole red tape scenario there, right?
Yeah. When I started on the first treatment, I was still walking, but my arms were paralyzed. So I had 2 arms at my side. And then I kept declining, but they told me I had to wait 3 months. And by that time, I was like I wasn't a vegetable. I mean, my mind still worked fine, but I was having trouble breathing, speaking, swallowing, and I couldn't move anything from below my neck.
So on the inside, you're totally fine, meaning your mindset and everything else, right? But the outside is kind of locked down there, right?
I was trapped in my own body, for sure.
Wow.
But Ty and I were just talking about this a little bit. It's when you have something like that going on with you, some kind of diagnosis or health scare or whatever, like you still feel like you on the inside. And I always felt like me still. Like I don't know how, but I didn't lose myself. But yeah, I never wanted to be looked at. It's been, I heard so many times, and as I'm sure you have, people look at you and they say, I'm so sorry.
Right.
I'm so sorry. And I never felt sorry for myself, but people said that to me. My first thought was like, why are they sorry? Like,
same here.
I'm awesome. Like, I love my life. I know who I am, and this is just another like chapter of my human experience. That's kind of how I felt, but you still feel like yourself on the inside.
I think when you're a strong person, I think when you're a person who knows who you are, as you just said, like you just still felt like yourself on the inside. I think like for me, and we were talking about this, me, you, and my wife Melida, like I really hated, especially when I was super sick and people would come by and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," or "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
or "How are you feeling?" Right?
Yeah.
All of these things, and I know that they meant well, right? People are not, trying to be malicious. They come from a very good place, right? A place of wishing you the best. But sometimes, for the person that they're sharing that with, it can be extremely hurtful, right?
Yeah.
Because we're always doubting ourselves sometimes, no matter how strong you are. We're always, we want to be in a position where we're like as strong as the person that's saying it, if not even stronger.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, so how did you cope with this? So you went from being this lovely, bubbly, lively, energetic person to someone who was kind of trapped, and to use your own words, right? Trapped in your own body.
Yeah.
Like, how did you deal with that?
I'm still even just figuring that out, because a lot of it came natural, but I just think it feels better to be happy.
Yeah.
I just always really be happy, and kind of to what I was saying before is like when people say they're sorry, it's because they were looking at me thinking, if I was you, I'd be miserable. But to me, I'm like, I love that I'm here alive. I love my family. I love who I am. So why would I be miserable that I'm me? Like I still felt the same inside, but also just like the love and support around me all the time. And something I did do that is a little different. One day I was in the nursing home and I was having a down day. It was an evaluation day, so it's basically they try to get you to fail over and over to see where you're at, so it doesn't feel very good. But I was kind of down and I saw this lady laughing. And I was like, that is so much more me than who I'm being. And I went in my room and put on some costume ears. And everywhere I rolled around in my wheelchair, I was like waddling around. People started laughing lovingly at me because of my costume ears. So from that day on, I just wore costumes every day at the nursing home. And it made people laugh, so it made me laugh. So I think it goes to like what you put out into the world is how you're going to perceive the world.
It's that energy, and what you were doing at that point is, and you're super aware of it, which is awesome. It's just like taking the energy and being responsible for it. Like we could say, yes, I'm in this position right now, and yes, I have every single reason as to why I should cuddle up and like just roll in a corner and cry, right, or feel super sorry for myself, or I can choose to do something about it. I can take, and everyone's different, but what you decided to do was take that energy and turn it into something positive instead of something negative. And not only did you affect yourself, but you also affected everyone else around you, which is a beautiful thing. That's an awesome thing right there. So whether you're conscious of doing it or whether you're not conscious of it, right? One of the things that I talk about is just the state that you're in right now. Like your state, right, and your physiology can totally change things for you, no matter if you're someone that's super healthy or you're someone that's going through things. You might have sickle cell anemia. You might have an autoimmune disease, right? You might be going through something else, right? But it's your state and just becoming aware of that. Like, what is my posture right now? What do I think of myself? And what can I do to snap myself out of it? Can I turn on music? Can I go in and put on some funny ears, right? Can I just, jump up and down? So you kind of had an advantage, right? Because that's your personality type of thing, this bubbly person. What would you say to someone that, and I know that you're still battling with this, right? We were talking about that as well, as am I with sickle cell anemia, right? There's some days when I have great days. There's some days when it's like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, it's going to be one of those days, right? So how do you deal with it now? And what do you say to someone that might be going through something, whether it's autoimmune disease or whether it's sickle cell anemia or something? Like, how do you cope with that from minute to minute, day to day?
Some of the times when I feel, which fortunately it's not too often that I get to feel down, but I do because everybody does. I just remind myself that, okay, so had my autoimmune not happened, I would still be traveling around the world. I would have come home to see my parents 2 times a year. And instead, I would move home with my parents because they had to take care of me. I've gotten to know my parents in a way that I never would have known. I've gotten to know my sister and her family in a way I never would have gotten to know. I've gotten to see the most beautiful side of humanity, how helpful and loving and supportive everybody can be. And I never would have gotten to see any of that had this not happened. So I think it's important to like understand that when something like that's going on, instead of being depressed or sad or angry about who you could have been or who you used to be, it's like if you do that, you're going to miss life right in front of you. Wow. That's happening right in front of you. And
so good.
Yeah, like I would have missed my family, who are incredible. They would have gotten sick one day, and I never would have forgiven myself later in life for not being there with them. Yeah. So I think in times where it feels like it sucks, it's not that you're not on the path you're supposed to be. It's very much, I think, part of your path if you can accept it and love it and see where it's pulling you towards.
I mean, open saying that as well, right?
Yeah.
So some of our biggest aha moments and some of our biggest changes in life are just being open enough to sing like what's literally in front of us.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So turning your disadvantages into an advantage, and you just being able to say, you know what? Yes, I'm probably paralyzed from the neck down, which is tough. I can't even imagine being in that situation. So I totally give you 100% full credit and, commend you for being the person that you are. But looking at it and being in that position and saying, yes, I get to spend more time with my parents, right? I get to be here at home, and you're looking at the good in that, which is, it's super tough to do.
Yeah.
So she's the perfect example of someone that took her disadvantage, right? And turned it into an advantage, took the negatives, turned it into a positive, and she's still doing that. Hey, Courtney, I appreciate you being here. Right?
Thank you
I appreciate you sharing your time with me as well, and just for you being the person that you are. So, greatly appreciate
you. I love you and your wife. She's awesome too.
Yeah, she's an awesome, and part of my journey has been having Melody by my side. Just being able to see who she is and having her support, and as you can tell, right, you just met her and you can tell that she's a loving person.
I know, and I can tell
having
she's just, fiercely in her corner.
So that's big. So, and then having you guys as well, so the comments and you guys going in and telling your stories and sharing, some of your journey as well. I read every single comment, and your comments give me strength, they give me hope, they continue to give me fuel, and they do the same for other people that are reading as well, because trust me, you're not alone. Right, no matter how lonely, when you're laying in a hospital bed, right, and I've been there hundreds of times, right, you can feel like, man, like, why me? We were talking about that before. Yeah. Where there were times where I would be in so much pain, I felt like cutting off my arm or cutting off my leg just to get rid of the pain, right? And saying, why me? But then in the next minute, right, I would say, well, why not me?
I know, I was thinking that the whole time you were saying that,
who better than me? Because now it empowers me to be able to get better as an individual, to meet people like Courtney. And we had a mutual friend, Melissa, right?
Yeah, Melissa Krivicek.
I'm glad you tried to pronounce her last name, because I was just like kind of leave it there, just Melissa K. But we've got a mutual friend who said, you guys need to meet each other. So had I not been born with sickle cell anemia, that would have not have happened, right? This relationship would not have happened, right? Me being able to have the courage to get on video, which is, it could be something that could be kind of intimidating, and talking about my story would not have happened, right? Yeah. So think about the things that you're going through right now, and what are the advantages to it. I think there's an advantage to everything out there. So again, Courtney, appreciate you.
Yeah.
And where can people find you online?
My Facebook page is Unicort. It's UNICORT, like unicorn, but with a T.
Okay, awesome. Go in and follow this young lady. Trust me, you'll never have a moment where you doubt yourself again. All right, we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.
Peace out.